Alright, let's get into sewing this applique. So I've already made my dress. So this is the canvas that I'm going to start with. The other supplies that I have are needles. I like to work with my curved needles. But if you don't have curved needles, you can also use your straight needles. So straight needles such as these, you can use those as well. The type of thread that I'm using is invisible thread. I know some people do not like using invisible thread, but I haven't had a problem with invisible thread. If you don't use invisible thread, you do want to use a thread that correlates with the color of your garment. I also have some straight pins. This is going to help me position and pin my applique in place. And then you also want to have your applique that you decide to sew. And this is the one that I'll be using today. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is basically find the correct placement that we want for our applique. Play around with placement. I already know where I want this. I've made this dress plenty of times, so I know I want it right here on the shoulder here. So I'm placing it where I need it. Once I find the placement that works best for me, I'm going to get some pins and I'm going to pin it in place so it'll be easier for me to sew it. Now, if you have a dress form, a lot of dress forms have the foam bodice, so it'll be easier for you to pin your applique piece. I have an acrylic mannequin that I'm working with today, so I have to pin it on the dress and not actually through my mannequin. And then if you don't have a mannequin, you basically will just, position it, use your hands to keep it in place and pin it through the applique and through the fabric. So just make sure you use as many pins as you need to keep your applique stable so that when you start sewing, it does not move. All right, now that you have your applique on your piece, you just want to sit back, look at your applique piece, make sure you really love the placement of it, because once it's sewn, that's pretty much it. You don't want to go back and take those threads out and reposition it. So be sure that you step back, look at it, take pictures of it, see if you really love the placement. And if you do, we're going to start sewing. So what I do is I take my curved needle. I started doing this like a couple of years ago and it was a life changer. So I get my curved needle. You can purchase this from your local fabric store. I purchased mine from Hobby Lobby. So I thread it with my invisible thread and I go underhand with mine. So I go under my applique, grab some of my garment fabric and go through that applique and I pull. I be sure that I hold a little tension right there at the thread so that it doesn't unravel for me. So I go under, grab some fabric, and I pull. Go under, grab fabric, grab the applique, and pull. I use my other hand, my non-dominant hand, to hold on to the thread at the base so that it does not unravel. Go under, grab some garment fabric, grab applique, and pull. A little closer. I go under, grab the fabric, grab the applique, and I pull. And I use my non-dominant hand to hold on to that thread so that it does not unravel, as I'm using my dominant hand over here to, once again, grab some of the main fabric, grab the applique, and I pull yet again. And I do this for the entire perimeter of the applique. as you're sewing around your applique, you also want to be sure that you are securing it. So every few loops, you want to be sure that you're securing it with a knot. So I don't really count, but I don't know, maybe every 30 loops I secure it with a knot. So that way, if it does unravel, your whole applique is not falling off. I've never had a problem with my appliques falling off, but you always want to be sure that you secure as much as you possibly can. So every few loops, just go ahead and secure your knot so that it stays in place. So I wanted to slow down the video here, and I hope you can see it. But before I pulled this loop here, I held on to it, and I'm going to take my needle and put it through the loop once, pull it through, and then I'm going to put it through the loop a second time before I pull it to tighten it. So there's my second time going through that loop, and then now I'm going to tighten it, and it makes a knot at the base, and so that secures your applique. And then you just continue to sew, and you'll do that every few loops. Alright, so we are looping it for a final time, and now the applique is finished. So what I do is I just rub my hand over the applique to be sure that I don't need any extra securing of the applique. The perimeter worked well for me, so I don't need to secure anything in the middle of the applique. I also want to just examine the inside of my garment to be sure that the threads look okay. And on the inside, you're going to see those threads, whether you use orange thread, green thread, invisible thread, purple thread. Threads are going to be in the inside of your garment, and that's just something you won't be able to do anything about. As long as they look good and they look neat, that's all that matters. So the inside of your garment is going to look like that. Your applique is secure and it looks great. Step back, look at it, examine it. I love this. It's secure, it's beautiful. Can't beat it.